So again, I just want to talk about how cool this thing is. Very low profile. So I slid this right underneath a Scout bobber, which is a pretty low bike to begin with. You got the place to empty it right up here at top, and it just ends up being like a jerry can you can carry. So I actually carried this, put it in the back of my truck, full of oil, and then took it and had them drain it. So when you're ready to use it under the bike, you just remove these plugs, both of these, set it up underneath the bike, and then drain your oil. You're done. Wipe it down, and then you're ready for the next use. Scratch it up a little bit on the back, but scooching it around. But yeah, this is awesome. Open up the garage because I've got to start the bike up, get it to operating temperature. It's cold outside, so I'm just going to run it in here for about 30 seconds, get the engine nice and warm, and that should help the oil and come out quicker. So I'll go ahead and start. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is take my 6mm and I want to get down, and there should be here and here are going to be the two bolts that we need to break loose. So I've already broken those loose prior to getting under here, but that's what you want to do. Just get them under here with a ratchet, break them loose, and the next thing I want to do is now slide the oil pan underneath them. The pan slid underneath, and what I'm going to do is take these the rest of the way out. There's the oil. And we'll just let this drain out. So one of the things I do in the cars, I don't think it's a bad idea on a motorcycle either, but I usually will open up the filler hole just to give it a little bit more breathing room so I can get the oil to drain quicker. Just a little tip if you wanted to do that. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to see if I can get a better view to the oil filter, which is behind the horn. So I've got my 6mm again, put it on extension. Okay, so I took this 6mm bolt out, just dropped the horn kind of out of the way, and then you can see this is our oil filter. So I'm going to try to get that off. I have my hand, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So I'm going to try to get a strap wrench around it. All right, so another cool thing about this oil pan is that it's low profile enough and long enough where you can also take the oil filter off at the same time. So I'm going to get under here with a good wrench. Strap wrench wasn't working, so I had to go get a specific oil wrench. There we go. That's off, and we'll let that drain from there. Couple things to keep in mind. Crush washer was actually stuck at the bottom of the engine casing. I pried it off. The one here, I didn't see it until just recently, and it is right here. So it actually came off, which is good. What I'm telling you this for is because you want to make sure you account for both of those. You're not going to reuse them, but you also don't want to double up on these crush washers. These are going to be thrown away. You've got new ones in the kit that will go on here. You just don't want to double up on those, putting them in, because you will have a leak. So, all right, I'm going to let this continue to leak out, drain all the oil. Takes a little while, and then I will join you back. Okay, so I've cleaned the surface where the oil filter is going to go back on, and what I'm doing now is taking some of the new oil, getting it on my finger, and then I put it on the rubber surface here. You can see it's kind of shiny now. So that's going to allow us to spin this on, get a nice good seal. So we're just going to get it all the way until you feel it kind of touch, right? And then you don't want to torque this thing down, so you just want to do like another maybe 3/4 to a full turn. So they're good. I'm just putting it on by hand. I'm not going to use a wrench to do that because you don't want that to be a pain in the ass to get off. Okay, so got that. Got our trash crush washers we are not going to use. Keep those to the side. Now what I'm going to do, the dripping is just about stopped. So I'm going to get these bolts cleaned up. You can do that off camera. I'll put the new crush washers on them and we will join you back in a second. All right, we've got the filter back on. We've got the new filter, I should say. We've got the horn reconnected. And then I've got 2 of these with the new crush washers. So I'm going to just thread these in carefully by hand. And as the flow gets slower, the bike, it starts to drip on more of the frame. So you want to probably going to want to take a rag and just wipe off the bottom of the bike to make sure it's all dry. That way you don't have a leak or think you have a leak later when it's just some stuff dripping off the bottom. And also you just don't want to get hot and burn that oil off because that's going to stink. So I'm just wiping up under here. And these are only finger tight right now. So what we should see is nothing really dripping out because, for one, there's no oil in the bike. And I've got the holes plugged. And again, they're just finger tight for now. We're going to torque these down in a second. Okay, so got my torque wrench set to 15 foot-pounds. And now I'm just going to make sure these are tightened to spec. That's the front one. There we go. So those are 15 foot-pounds, and the bike is back together. So now it's just a matter of putting oil in it. So I'll take you to the other side of the bike.